Hello, welcome to April 3rd, 2022. Can you believe it's the 3rd already? Where's the time going? I'm Kurt, and this is the Good Life Meditation, my daily exercise of remembering my life objectives and principles, and checking to see how I'm doing applying these to my everyday, namely yesterday and today. Planning for the coming day. First, yesterday. Well, evidence continues to mount. I already knew it, but yeah, I already had plenty of evidence. But I am pretty sure that my sleep problem is related to work. I had a really tough work week last week, and I was unable to sleep as expected. But what was really interesting was the capstone day that I had on Friday, where I was hoping for a bit of a break, but I didn't get it, and it was another really busy day. But the result was that I got really well caught up. Everything on my projects is in good shape, relatively speaking. I mean, I have issues and I have risks, but they're as well addressed, I think, as they could be. So I'm doing as good as I could, right? So I had no reason to get up in the middle of the night, and I did not. I had a relatively good sleep on Saturday morning, and this is Sunday, and I slept well last night, although I did go to sleep late again. Well, not too late last night. I had a solid night's sleep. I did remember waking up once, but briefly, but not the waking. That's it. It's so clear. I wake the other times thinking about work. How did I ever think that it was anything but work? I'm not blaming work, but that seems to be what it is. So, so be it. Otherwise, yesterday was a very, very pleasant day. It was our 30th anniversary, and we went to San Clemente after we did our chores, and we went and had sushi at our favorite sushi place. And then we did some shopping, and then we came home. We had a nice dinner together, Yumiko and I, and watched another episode of the Bridgertons. We like that show. And then off to bed. Oh, we went to, Yumiko had a lot of fun. She's working on her room, and she got some new shelving, some bookcases, and some various knickknacks for the home. We went to Home Goods, and she got some good stuff. It's nice to see her doing her thing. She's very good at home decoration. The other thought was that I was thinking yesterday about how different this anniversary is from the past. 29. Goodness. You okay over there? A little white dog is hacking up. The previous anniversaries have always had a sense of distraction. I have to catch my breath. I'm so glad that those days seem to be over. And it wasn't just the anniversary. Everything is impressed upon from this distracting sense of attention to other things. Life has always, in all my life, been seemingly pulling me elsewhere, attending to things that need to get done. I'd say yesterday's anniversary lunch together was one of the first times without alcohol. I did have one small beer, but I felt it even before I had the beer. I felt it throughout the morning and throughout the day. It's like a planet or a meteor, or an asteroid that's been hurled free of the gravitational pull of its star, hurling off into space, no longer compelled to circle, orbit, spin, and take that reckless course of spinning through the inner solar system past the rocky planets. That's what life is like the past 29 years. Because that orbit is the responsibilities of everything. The gravity pull is the energy, the draw of everything that I need to do to fulfill my duty particularly as a father, but also as a husband and a citizen, mainly working hard to do my job, whatever that is, to provide for my family, make sure that we are well cared for. Although that's been a bittersweet endeavor. I'm not the best with money, but so I could have done better on that front. Pardon me. But taking care of my daughter, being attentive to my wife, being honest and faithful and sound. Spin, spin, spin. But this year, it feels like maybe it's not that I'm free of that, because I'm not. Still have to get my daughter through university. Still need to do my job. But the orbit is much broader, much wider, much more elliptical now. It's wide instead of boom, boom, boom around the gravity well. Maybe not even that. Maybe it's something like this, going wider every spin. Escape velocity. That might be it. Yumiko and I have reached escape velocity. Not escape from our lives, but escape from the driving necessity of work. I feel it now. Now, I expect that this will come and go. This is the first time I've ever felt this my whole life. Even when I was rich, I didn't feel like this. Even when I had $1 million, I still felt close in orbit, spinning fast, dodging planets, burned by the sun. I don't feel that way anymore. That's a good thing. But that inner orbit, that inner burn is necessary, right? That's what we got to do if we're gonna carry on the species, right? How else will our genes make it into another generation unless we educate ourselves and work hard and create new human beings and provide for them and give them care and warmth and education and see them into adulthood and then get the hell out of the way. And this is the get the hell out of the way part, which is escape velocity. Almost there. Okay, let's do the good life. 7 principles and 30 objectives. I realized I was saying that backwards as I said it. It's the other way around. To always be ready to die. To have everything in order. And to make every day a worthwhile experience. To have good objectives and principles to live by and towards. To react well, emotionally. To do good things. To know where my limits are and where my opportunities are. And to do everything slowly and to not do more than one thing at a time. To fight always against things that I think are true. To never accept them as true. Everything is a hypothesis, subject to revision. To use reason and honesty, objectivity, and severe skepticism as my weapons in my effort to flay truth from fiction, fantasy, longing, want. To remember that I don't have a soul. That's a fiction, that idea. There's nothing in me that will last forever. Well, nothing in me that will live forever. The stuff of my constitution will last. But I do have a little consciousness that winks and kindles and flickers in my head right now. And I get that for a few more years. And then that'll flash out, extinguish. The music will stop. And that little consciousness that I have is alone utterly. No connection to any others. No real connection. Just semaphore across the void. And that right and wrong, well, those are my opinions. And you've got yours. And they're stronger when we agree, but never absolute. And to have something to live for and a reason to be. And for me, these things are husband and family and home and hard work, making the world a better place. And the development and sharing of my life philosophy, which I call the good life. Thank you, Stoics. Borrowing from them. To keep in mind that everything is made of little bits and pieces, as Lucretius would point out, atoms in a void. And that everything has some particular nature, including me and you. And it's good to recognize what that is and be expecting things to behave in their nature. And to remember that free will, as convincing as it seems, doesn't really exist. It's a compelling illusion. And though we are indeed free to make any decision we want, the decisions we make are the only ones that we could have ever made. Not determinism, but it's a fact that the universe compels us. We are prodded and we are connected to everything that has ever happened. And those things drive our decision making more than our own decision making is just a final domino fall for every choice. And to strive to be mature, where I remember my successes and failures and strive to do better and have the fortitude and strength to do so. To be a social human being, looking out for others, communicating with others, being there for others, even when I don't want to. I'll still be social. And I'm getting better at that. To communicate carefully, deliberately, and earnestly, choosing my words like a bride chooses her bouquet, her flowers at her wedding, just so. To be temperate in all things, watching and controlling my consumption. To remember that life is a scary, awful place. Terrible things happening all around us every day, to everyone, to greater or lesser degrees. If you've got it good now, watch out. It's only for a while. Horror will come to all of us. And to make my life more sober and deliberate as a result, and to tend to my responsibilities with greater diligence. And to remember that these facts are things that I have to bear. So do you. Likewise, my responsibilities. Likewise, my folly. Bear it by remembering it, so that I can endeavor not to repeat it. And to be very careful to hold my upset inside and to not let it out. Yesterday, I had a brief moment with a stranger at the dog park where I let out a little bit of my disappointment in one category on a question that they asked me about. An innocent question. Neither politics, nor religion, nor money. And afterwards I realized there was no need for that. I should have kept it in. It was an instance of the Feast of Offal. Someone giving me an out to vent my opinion. A silly opinion. Of no consequence. Even more interestingly, of no bearing. Because it doesn't make any difference. Yet I did it. It was a little mini Feast of Offal. And I could see that it impacted them. And I immediately caught myself. And put on my public face. Because what they heard me say wasn't what they wanted to hear. And there's nothing that can be done about it. So I should have just kept it to myself. But they asked me so pointedly, so directly. So there was that. The Feast of Offal. Got to be on my guard for that. It's the first time in well over a year, maybe longer, that's come up. I had an opportunity to be that guy. Next comes a distraction. Keeping ourselves well occupied so that we don't need to see the apparent emptiness of the universe, the thing I call the great indifference. A universe without overarching agency or oversight, apparently. Pardon me. To be content where I am now, who I am now, and doing what I'm doing right now, while all the while striving to make things better. To be ready to step upon the path of wildness, to move forward from my current life into a new life. Yet again. A new chapter, a new story, and a new great life adventure to come. It takes courage. It takes risk. There's nothing easy in it. But boy, do I love to do it. To be ready to attend to the various risks of life. I've pretty much done my part with education and career and raising a family. Next, it's time to slow down. I've also done my bit with the deep level stuff, seeking after an identity and creating that, living that, and sharing that story. to neither sin through belief or communication, where sin by virtue of belief is to believe things that are untrue, or to believe things for bad reasons. And then communication is to gossip. I guess the Feast of Offal is a form of communication. It's a sin by virtue of communication. I wonder if I should add that to this principle, the principle of sin and damnation. Next is complete oblivion. When dead, there's nothing to follow. No afterlife. We won't see our loved ones again. We won't have a chance to reunite or make amends or embrace or hug or kiss or say hello, because there is no afterlife. And there's also no God. So there's no one to apply justice where justice is due, or to reward where good reward is due. There's only the connections that we make and maintain and keep now, and the opportunity to remedy poor relations now, and the chance to pursue and facilitate justice in the only life, the only time when justice has any meaning at all, right now. To have one or more great life adventures, something to be a centerpiece of my living, and to be ready to record whatever words come of that. To strive for the mark but realize that I'll usually miss. To press on up, hill, higher and higher. What a vista. It's cold up there though. Maybe that's why we're escape velocity, the high elevation. That's an interesting idea. To be satisfied with less, much, much less. And to strive to have fun. Okay, those are my 7 objectives and 30 principles, spoken in more of a spoken word format, right? I kind of like it when I do that. That's fun. Touching on the principles and objectives without necessarily calling them out. Gotta have them all straight in your head to do that, because otherwise, when you call them out, it's like, pulling a bead on a rosary, right? Moving forward. When you don't call it out, then you're just flowing like a river. That feels better though. Okay, let's plan for the day. It's a Sunday morning. Really nothing to do today. I've already done all the house cleaning yesterday. Yumiko did as well. We've got some shopping to do. Maybe hopefully we'll have a relaxing day around the house mostly. I enjoy that when we do that. Well, I'll be on the lookout as well for many opportunities for the Feast of Offal, and not be so susceptible as I was yesterday. All right, well, have a good day. Be safe, but not too safe.